Hi everybody, Carol here. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm making a Christmas card in September, and I'm using one of the stamps from the September card kit of Simon Says Stamp. I'm using the little bird, and you will see what kind of card this is. It's going to be featuring a little red bird right here, and then also some holly leaves and some berries that come from an old Stampin' Up! Set called Sassy Seasonals. And I'm sorry that I got this off camera. I didn't realize it. But I love these solid stamps that you don't have to go back and color them in. You just stamp them and with the color ink you need and the color you need, and it's so nice. So I put down a mask and I stamped another leaf. I have another mask. I need to cut off a little bit of the white trim on it. These are just leaves that I've stamped, and I'm using them for masks. And then I will stamp the third leaf, and then stamp the little berries in red, and stamping them separately because I'm going to cut them out. Actually, I'm only going to use two of the berries. And so I'm going to go back now and color the bird, a red bird, as I said, and I'm just going to speed through it, and no sense in you watching, but I want you to see that I actually did do it, and I stamped that on a pinkish cardstock to give me a head start. It makes it easier when you're having to fill in and color everything to have a little bit of color in the background. At least I like it. And so I'm coloring this little beak orange, and I'm used a couple of shades of red there for some highlighting and some shading. And I will cut him out, and then also cut out the holly leaves and the berries. And I won't show all of the cutting out, but there are the leaves, and now I'm going to cut out the holly. The berries. And I'm not using all three of the berries, but if I were, I'm showing how I would go back and cut out in between the berries, that little white space in there, so the background would show through. Now, I don't have a birch tree stamp or die, but I want some birch trees, so I just thought I'd try to sketch one out, and I'm not an artist by any stretch of the imagination, so if I can do it, you can do it. Just a couple of curvy lines, and I'm just showing how, how a birch tree has those kind of lines across the trunk, and then the little indentations. So I'm just taking some scissors and cutting out a very tall birch tree, and actually I probably could cut this in half, and get two trees out of it. But anyway, I've got it, so I might as well go ahead and cut the whole thing out. And this is just done in pencil. You can go back and erase, or you could use some colored pencils or markers to make the little highlights, the little lines across there. I'm cutting some little notches out, like little triangles out of the side. Just cut it into a point and cut into it again to the top of the point, and just cut out those little notches. And I'm going around and doing it on both sides randomly, not trying to be perfect here by any means, but it gets the point across. And then I'm also going to be using some dies, 3 different dies. This one is a little die from Crafter's Companion, and it's obviously a fence. I cut 2 of them. I'm poking it out, and we'll save that later. You'll see where that goes. And then a house, and that's from Stampin' Up! Sizzix, and this house is called Homemade Holiday. Now it's just solid, it's just a solid die, so I'm going to go back with the pencil and just draw in the roof line. You could definitely use a marker or colored pencil. And then I'm going to draw some teeny tiny windows. I'm just getting a straight line, trying to separate them evenly. I mean, these are little bitty. And I'm trying to keep everything very, very subtle. I want this card to be very white as far as the roof line goes. And I'm just drawing in a door. I'm going to go back and do those things with some colored cardstock. You'll see that in a minute. And then the last die is from Memory Box, and it's called Frostyville border, and it's an old dye. I've had it a long time, and it's beautiful. I love intricate dies. What I don't love is punching them out. And so I went ahead and started the punching out so you wouldn't have to watch all that tedious punching out. This one came apart pretty well, but still, there's all you have to be careful with those very delicate little pieces. And so I'm releasing it from the edges of the paper, and I love the little extra snowflakes you get that are in the top part of this, and I'm poking them out now, and I will definitely use them. And then one other little piece I didn't get out before. I'm going to flip it over and put some Tombow Mono Multi Glue on it and set it aside to dry, and then it's repositionable. Same way with the fences in the house. And so what I'm doing for the windows, I cut this very, very thin strip of yellow from my paper trimmer. I mean, it's less than 1/8 of an inch. And then some teeny tiny little pieces off the end, just slide down, cut off a teeny little piece, again probably less than 1/8 of an inch, and I'm just putting some dots where the windows will go, and I'm showing you where the door will go. But I will go back and put those on in a minute, and you'll see that. So I had made a bunch of these birch trees in the past just to have them on hand. You never know when you might need a birch tree. So anyway, I'm putting these down on this beautiful pale blue paper. I want this to be such a subtle card, and a soft, sweet card for winter time. And so I cut the top of that tree off, and it wasn't necessary. I'm spacing them differently. I don't want them to just be completely evenly spaced. And so there are the trees. There's the house in the background. There's a fence in front of the house. This is just show you how the placement's going to go. And then I'll take the other tree and put it more in the foreground to kind of show perspective there. And adjusting there, and then this is where the border will go. And so I decided to move that tree up, which means I didn't have to cut that off a while ago after all. But anyway, I'm going to slide the little first fence down where it covers up the tree trunk, so it didn't matter a bit, and then put down this frosty border, Frostyville, excuse me. And this is where the little bird is going to go. I'm bringing in another one that I'd already... Then I'm bringing in the red door. I'm going to put it down. It barely shows, but that's all right. It gives just another little touch of red. And then I'm going to put down these windows. Using the tweezers, it's very handy. Again, I'd already put the little dots, but just showing you the little dots of glue. And then going to put down the windows, which are so little bitty. And again, they don't have to be exact. I don't know that anybody would notice, but just I'm just lining up the best I can. And then too, of course, you could always color these, but I like the idea of using the cardstock. And so then here you go. I'm patting it all down. Now I'm bringing in the holly leaves and the berries. 3 leaves, 2 berries. I like the odd number, so that's why I left off the extra berry. So this is what it will look like back in red, and we'll put this all together now. A piece of teal goes down first. That teal is 7 3/4 by 9 3/4, so it's just right for an 8 by 10 manila envelope or white envelope. Then a piece of white, a piece of red, all of these just very thin borders around the edge, and then the piece of blue. And I like that shade of blue with red. Going to go ahead and put those berries back down again. And the green leaf does stick over, you can see that. Now I'm putting down 2 more dots of glue. Remember those snowflakes I punched out of the border die? I'm going to use some from that other one that I cut out and put them down. You could put as many as you wanted, as many as you want to cut out the die. And so that is what it looks like up close and personal. I think it is so soft and sweet, and just a really cozy looking card. And it could be Christmas or not. It could just be a winter January card, just, you know, to show winter in some way. Now I'm bringing in the dimensions I used, or the measurements that I used. You certainly don't have to do what I do. You could make it any way you wanted to. You could leave off some of the layers and make it smaller. But I'll have another picture of this and the still shots at the end if you want to hold it and pause it for a moment and look at it, or take a screenshot. But I just wanted you to know what these are in case you wanted to know. So there you go. It's all done except for one thing. I'm going to show you some options. This little Merry Christmas stamp tag layered on some cardstock. I put it at the top to see if maybe you might like that better. It certainly adds more interest. It's pretty. It's just whichever. I wish you would let me know which one you do like better, plain or with that up there. I also played with putting it down at the bottom. I thought maybe it would look better down here. So that's what's fun when a card's all finished and you can play around with it and see if there's any way you want to tweak it, make it different or better, or one you like better or one you don't. You're satisfied with what you have. So anyway, that is it. I just have still shots for you now. I hope you enjoyed thinking about Christmas. And for where we are, it's still warm weather, but it's fun to think about it. And thank you for joining me. I'll have some videos at the end you might like to see also, but always appreciate you being here, and have a great day. Bye-bye.